آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا ورزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا. اللهم فقهنا في الدين وعلمنا التأويل يا رب العالمين. Alhamdulillah, we are on the chapter today, the chapter Bab al-Wudu, chapter of Wudu. And we finished the other chapters of the categories of water and utensils and Qada al-Haja, how to use the lavatory. And now we've come to the chapter of Wudu. And this is, all of those topics we studied previously were prerequisites, right, to your wudu. So you need to make sure that you have the correct type of water before you make wudu. Right? You need to make sure you clean yourself in the washroom before making wudu. So all of these topics that we spoke about previously were prerequisites, and now we've come to finally the chapter of wudu. Bab al-Wudu, the chapter of wudu. لا يصح الوضوء ولا غيره. قال المصنف رحمه الله, the author رحمه الله, may Allah have mercy on him, says لا يصح الوضوء ولا غيره من العبادات إلا أن ينويه لقول رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إنما الأعمال بالنيات وإنما لكل امرئ ما نوى. The author, may Allah have mercy upon him, starts off by saying that no actions of worship are valid unless a person makes the intention. So the first and foremost action, or first and foremost thing before making wudu, is you need your intention. Because intention is a shart, is a condition of all of the ibadat. Whether it's wudu or salah or zakah or hajj, any ibadah that you do, you have to have the intention. And without the intention, your ibadah is not valid. And we went through in the explanation of Al-Arba'in al-Nawawi, we went through the explanation of 40 hadith of Imam al-Nawawi. The first hadith he mentioned was إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ, that hadith. And we explained the different aspects of ibadah. Intention is the thing that differentiates al-ibadat wal-adat, the thing that differentiates an ibadah and a customary action. So for example, if a person, he wakes up and he decides to just brush his teeth, rinse his mouth, freshen up, wash his face, and he hears the call of adhan, and he says, I might as well complete my wudu. I woke up, I brushed my teeth, I rinsed my mouth, I washed my face. Let me just finish and wash my hands and wash my hair, wipe my hair and finish my wudu. Is his wudu valid? His wudu is not valid, because he did not have intention from the beginning of the wudu. And the wajib, one of the wajibat of wudu, is washing the face, and he did not have the intention before that. Right? So intention is necessary before starting the wudu. Then the author says, ثُمَّ يَقُولُ بِسْمِ اللَّهِ. Then he says, Bismillah. وَيَغْسِلُ كَفَّيْهِ ثَلَاثًا. And he washes his hand 3 times. And when they use the word kaf, the word kaf in Arabic means up to the wrist. So he washes his hands up to the wrist 3 times. And here the author is going through the description of wudu, the sifat al-wudu, without mentioning which ones are wajib and which ones are mustahab. He will go through that after this. ثُمَّ يَتَمَضْمَضُ وَيَسْتَنْشِقُ ثَلَاثًا وَيَجْمَعُ بَيْنَهُمَا بِغَرْفَةٍ أَوْ ثَلَاثٍ. Then he rinses his mouth, وَيَسْتَنْشِقْ, and his nostrils 3 times, combining both with 1 handful or 3. So rinsing the mouth and rinsing the nose, there are a few ways, there are 3 ways to do it. Number 1 is what the author mentions here, is with بِغَرْفَةٍ واحد. He takes 1 handful of water and he does it 3 times. Meaning you take 1 handful, put some water in your mouth, and then some in your nose. And then from the same handful, your mouth and your nose again. And the same thing, 3 times with the same 1 handful, right? And this is a little bit hard. You need to practice if you're going to, to do this. It's a person, might not be able to do this if he hasn't practice this, right? This is one way of doing it. And this is what the author mentions. The second way, the second sifa of doing it is taking, uh, he says, بينهما أو ثلاث, or taking three handfuls of water. So you take one handful and you rinse your mouth and your nose. You put it in your mouth and your nose. And you take another handful, you put in your mouth and your nose. Take another handful, you put in your mouth. The third handful, put it in your mouth and your nose. And that would be sufficient to wash your mouth and your nose. Now, al-madmada means to rinse your mouth. And the least amount which is accepted for al-madmada would be to circle the water, squish the water around your mouth. So if you just put the water in and you spit it out, that would not be counted as madmada. Madmada means to rinse your mouth. And you need to at least squish the water around a little bit for it to be considered al-madmada. Al-istinshaq or istanshiq means to snorkel up the water in your nose. And the least amount that would be accepted would be to sniff up the water, meaning to take up air in the water. That some of the scholars mentioned that is mustahab, to actually take up air in the water and then blow it out. And that is the way to do al-istinshaq. وَيَسْتَنْشِقُ ثَلَاثًا. Also, if a person cannot do 3 times, we mentioned the 2 ways of doing it, either with 1 handful or with 3 handfuls, then he can do it with 6 handfuls. You can do 1 handful in your mouth, and then 1 in your nose, then 1 in your mouth, 1 in your nose, 1 to your mouth, and 1 in your nose. And that would be the third way of doing rinsing the mouth and the nose. Then he proceeds and he says, ثُمَّ يَغْسِلُ وَجْهَهُ ثَلَاثًا. Then he washes his face 3 times. من منابت شعر الرأس إلى من حدر من اللحيين والذقن طولا ومن الأذن إلى الأذن عرضا ويخلل لحيته إن كانت كثيفة وإن كانت تصف البشرة لزمه غسلها. And then, so he says, then you wash your face 3 times, and then he goes to describe what is the definition of the face. And he mentions that washing the face 3 times, and the definition is from the hairline, so the top, from the hairline, and the bottom is from where where your jaws and your chin meet. So this part here, so the definition would be from the hairline, and the bottom would be where your jaw is and your chin. So what is below the chin, what is part of your neck, is not wajib for you to wash. It's not considered your face. The face is ما يحصل المواجهة, whatever is you are able to see. Right? Whatever you're able to, when you face someone, what you can see, that is considered the face in the Arabic language. So whatever you can see from the top would be from the hairline. The hairline, al-mu'tada, meaning that the average hairline. So for example, some people, their hairline is very back. Maybe they're bald, right? Does that mean that you wash all the way here? No. Whatever is average, whatever the average, the customary hairline is, right? So you average it. If your hairline is not there, and that is where you start your face from. And then he says from the width, from your ear, from the right ear to the left ear, so the ear to the ear. Now there is a white part here between the beard and the ear, right? This part is also wajib to wash, because this part is part of the ear. It is part of the face, right? As he says, from the ear, from the ear to the ear. So this white part here, this part here that is between the beard and the ear is also wajib to wash. And then he talks about the face and what is connected to the face. So he says that وَمِنْ حَدَرَ, he says here إِلَى مَنْ حَدَرَ مِنَ اللِّحْيَيْنِ, right? So until whatever runs down or goes down from his chin. So if you have a long beard, then it's wajib for you to wash the outside of the beard, right? If you have a long beard, you have to wash the outside of the beard. Now he's going to talk about the beard in more detail. So the beard, if your beard is long or if it's short, whatever it is, you have to wash the outside, right? The wajib is to wash the outside of the beard. Now he says here, if your beard, وَيُخَلِّ لِحْيَتَهُ إِنْ كَانَتْ كَثِيفًا, if your beard is thick, if it's very thick, then you have to wash inside your beard. Meaning you have to take water and you have to put it in, and wash the inside, or you have to run it through your beard if it's thick. And if it is thin, then you must wash the skin underneath your beard. And what is the definition of thick and thin? If it's the definition of thick is that if your beard is thick that you cannot see your skin, then you must wash the beard itself, right? So you must run your hands through with water and wash the beard. يُخَلِّلْ لِحْيَتَهُ. If you can see the skin, then you have to actually wash the skin. So you have to put enough water to wash the actual skin of the beard if it's a thin beard. If it's a thin beard. ثم يوصل يديه إلى المرفقين ثلاثا. Then he washes his hand to his elbows 3 times. And ويدخلهما في الغسل. And he includes them in the washing. Meaning that he washes his hand and he includes the wrist, the hand, this kaf here, in the washing up to his elbow, including his elbow. So he washes the hand and he includes the elbow as well in the washing. So your hands, so the definition of the hand is from the tip of your fingers all the way to the end of your elbow, and you wash it 3 times. ثم يمسح رأسه مع الأذنين يبدأ بيديه من مقدمه ثم يمرهما إلى قفاه ثم يردهما إلى مقدمه. Then he wipes his head, including his ears, starting with his hands at the forelock, so at the beginning of his head, wiping to the nape of the neck and back to the forelock. So then he, after washing the hands, he wets his hands with water and he starts from the beginning and he wipes his hair all the way going back, and then he continues, he takes the hand again and he comes all the way back to where it started, right? So he goes 1 and he comes back 2. And then he washes his ears, or then he wipes his ears along with wiping the head. Now this is from the sunnah of washing the head, of wiping the head. Now if the wajib is that you wipe the entire head. So for example, if a person, his hair, he has his hair combed and he wants to just wipe his head, then that is enough as well. That is valid as well, as long as the entire head has been wiped, right? And that is what is required for wiping the head. ثم يوصل رجليه إلى الكعبين ثلاثا ويدخلهما في الغسل ويدخل الأصابع ويخلل أصابعهما. Then he washes his feet up to his ankles, including the ankles. So he washes his feet, including the ankles, and he washes in between the ankles, in between the toes, using his fingers. So washing in between the toes using your fingers. This is from the sunnah of wudu, so that you get any type of filth or anything that would be stuck in between the toes. ثم يرفع نظره إلى السماء فيقول أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Then he looks up to the heavens and he says this dua, أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله, and his wudu is finished. This last part about looking up to the sky, that narration that mentions looking up to the sky is not authentic, but the dua is authentic. It is narrated without the part of looking up to the sky as an authentic dua. So this is the dua you say when you finish making your wudu. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. You have completed your wudu according to the sunnah. Also from the sunnah is washing all the parts 3 times and wiping once. So anytime you have to wipe something, it has to be once. Anytime that is washing must be done 3 times according to the sunnah, the way that the Prophet ﷺ would make wudu. And we'll end here today, inshallah. Tomorrow we'll go over some of the mandatory acts of wudu and more detailed which parts are wajib and which parts are sunnah. وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
One question.
Yes.
For washing the mouth.